Thank you very much there. Men, I do a lot of leadership work with men who come to me from all walks of life. And men, for some of you today, this could be life-changing for you.
My line of work is quite diverse. It focuses on leadership development.
I was actually born on Yindinji country here, born and bred, did all my growing up here. And so coming here today, what I'd like to do is plant a seed in your minds of the type of life that you could lead if you take hold of certain gifts and talents that have been given to you.
My earlier development in leadership and just modelling of leadership was through my mum and dad. Through their ability to want to serve others and just be out there helpful to a whole range of different people, not just our family members, but our extended family and friends and other people that came across their path. My early education was in the Catholic education system at St Augustine's College in Cairns. Being one of a small number of Indigenous students, it gave me a sense of being proud of my cultural identity. This year, as I go back to St Augustine's to give a presentation, one of the things that I did notice about the school is the numbers of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander youth. So that gives that feeling of cultural bonding, a sense of cultural identity, and it's through that that I believe that those people can now influence another generation of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander youth.
But men, if we are to become leaders, if you are to become someone who wants to truly live the life that you wish to live, then you need to become a reader.
Although some 37 years ago, I might have been sitting in a classroom listening to a speaker like I was presenting, I was trying to imagine that if I was sitting there listening to someone's life, what would be some of the takeaway messages that I would want someone to share with me so that I could either follow in their footprints or that I could use their history, their wisdom to be able to craft a life that I believe is unique for my giftings, my talents, and what I've been put on this earth to do. Back in 1977, in my final year of St Augustine's College, I really didn't have a thought about where I might eventually end up career-wise. It wasn't until I was ready to fill out a form that I can remember that particular teacher at St Augustine's College said, "Had you considered teaching?" I was then able to get a Bachelor of Education, having studied at university for 4 years, and that set me on the career path of being a secondary school teacher. And I was a state coach of the Queensland women's touch football teams. In 1987, I co-founded the Aboriginal and Islander Tertiary Aspirations program, which went about identifying Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students who wanted to go on to university studies, because at that time there were small numbers of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students who were not only completing secondary school but also wanting to go on to further education, particularly university studies. We were able to show that given the right conditions, given the right support, both at the school level and outside the school level, we could have Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students not only complete Year 12, go off to university studies, but complete those studies and in turn come back and be professionals back in their own family, in their community and the wider Australian community settings.
I want you to offer people words of encouragement, to say to people, "Hey, brother, good stuff. I love the way that you talk." The theme was always to try and help people to be the best that they could be, whether they were leaders, whether they were being followers to leaders.
In the late 1990s, I was awarded a Winston Churchill Fellowship, And this fellowship allowed me to go over to the United States and Canada, where my principal area of research was in how Indigenous peoples in those countries develop up the next generation leaders, which allowed me to bring that research, information and knowledge back to Australia, where I was able to co-found a leadership education training and coaching firm known as Learn to Lead. Lights off, please. I've been able to go around Australia developing up, designing and delivering leadership programs for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples as well as non-Indigenous Australians.
But certainly as far as how that's shown or demonstrated out in the marketplace.
On the phone there, you said that you've got currently a vision and some core values for the organisation.
This is a list that we did a little while back. You know, the business started 5 years ago, and this is something we did very early on. We've got some very strong core values, and I think to get the whole team together, we'll find that that's something that the whole team has a real passion for.
So the type of work that I've done with clients in the past has been to come alongside of them, look at where it is that they see themselves going, how do we use this in order to go further forward, what are the things that are likely to get them there. It left me with a sense of satisfaction in knowing that I've been able to come alongside a building firm and add value to the way in which they believe leadership ought to be shaped, how it ought to be put out, and how it ought to be encompassing of people not only within their organisation but the people whom they reach out to and they serve. And also a product called Cadbury.
Yeah.
So once again, it gets to the why, the how and the what. So this is the stuff now that we say measure us on, internally or externally to our organisation.
Well, I believe it's a special gift that I have, the ability to be able to connect with people, the ability then to have that connection with one person to connect in with other people, and just the ability to bring out the best in people.
I think that if there is an opportunity down the track to serve you in another capacity of mentoring or bouncing ideas off.
I had the privilege of being invited to come along and work with the Rainforest Aboriginal Peoples Alliance. They're wanting leadership to be developed at the grassroots level. They're wanting leadership to be delivered by their own people on country.
You know, whether the young ones are playing down this space and you're needing them to be pushed up that part of the curve, I think there's got to be a way that young people, younger generations, can buy in up here because they want to.
By running alongside their processes, by helping them to be the best facilitators they could be in delivering a program that in turn would produce or develop Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, that gives me a great sense of not only pride but also a great sense of satisfaction.
And I believe that if we'll let people go to the regional workshop, and it's always the regional workshop that things happen, I believe that there needs to be something done back on country with traditional owner groups before they do get to a regional one.
For over 30 years, I've been able to set standards of excellence, whether that be teaching, coaching, facilitation. It's the ability to challenge them. It's the ability to be able to say to them, can you be even better than what you were yesterday? And it's through those challenging type questions that I believe that I've been able to bring through generation after generation of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander as well as non-Indigenous leaders.
You know, I want to know more about my country. I want to know more about how you go about reading those signs on country. I think there's something here that's really special, whether it's owned by people with dollars who say, I want you to continue it, but I want it to be run this way, or whether people who are sitting around the table here who've got the inspiration to act as facilitators, to be the facilitation team. Not everyone, I believe, wants to be a facilitator, but I believe that everyone ought to have facilitation skills.
It gives me great privilege that wherever I go around Australia, I get people coming up to me and say, hey, I did that course with you. Hey, you were at that particular event where you might have been that guest speaker and you made a difference in my life. You were able to have me feel as though I can do anything that I put my mind to. And that gives me great joy. That gives me a great buzz because it's not just me that's doing that. It's a case of being able to have, whether it be through what I say, but more importantly, what I do, as an example of being a model to those next generation leaders.
My observations of people who live the life that they truly deserve, there is something about character and the way in which they base their life on that word. So man, even though today you're listening to me, and for some of you, you might be saying, but Eddie, that's when I grow up. I can look at all this stuff then. Well, man, it happens here. Now, have I got your back tomorrow? Yeah! Have I got your back tomorrow? Yeah! So, men, when those non-Indigenous men tomorrow look at me and they go, what's this guy eating? What's he sleeping on? I just want you to say, hey, listen to this fella. He got some deadly messages. Thank you, Brian.
So the best part of my job is that I get to travel around Australia and come in contact with a whole range of people with diverse backgrounds, people who are connected into country, connected to culture, connected to kin, and non-Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who want to do better, who want to work alongside, who want to see Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people be the best that they can possibly be. And so that brings me into contact with the dreamers, the believers and the achievers of societal change in Australia.